Alright, so the headers came in for the RSX. Going to be putting those on today. I haven't got a new sway bar or anything, so if that causes any issues, I'm just going to unbolt mine, and it's going to be terrible taking turns till I get a new one. But I also want to see if there's really that much issue, because a lot of them say it's just for the Skunk 2 and all that, and this is an OBX eBay header, whatever. This is what it looks like out of the box, and it came with some pretty high quality hardware. So it came with a new gasket, a graphite gasket, bolts, and then the Catalytic, the O2 sensors, and the whole header. Alright, so I started taking the bolts off the header, the stock exhaust manifold. And the ones on the bottom, there's 3 of them. They actually came off really easy, which is surprising because usually those are really hard. They're the ones with the spring on them. I just used an impact that came right off. The thing I'm having a problem with right now, and I'll show you, down here is this heat shield. Those 2 came off no problem. But then down in there are 2 bolts, one on each side. And I stripped that one, rounded it off. So I don't really know how I'm gonna get this heat shield off. I'm thinking maybe I could bend it. I don't know. So I think I can make it work. I ended up just bending it back with a pry bar. It was real easy. It just bent right back, and I can get to those bolts. So this should work. And then that's just hooked to that, and that's all unhooked. So like the heat shield's just going to be attached to that exhaust manifold. So I got all the bolts off out here. You can't really see anything there, whatever. Here's all the bolts. There's 5 of them. They actually came off. 2 of them were a pain in the ass. It wasn't really too bad. So the next thing I'm going to do is try and take the O2 sensors off. I think I'm just going to unplug them and then get the whole exhaust off and then try to get them out with like a wrench or whatever. So with much ease, see, that comes right off. I'm gonna have to do some wiggling, but I'll get it off. But yeah, it shouldn't be too. Alright, here's the massive catalytic converter that's gonna come off. I have to get those O2 sensors and keep them. Really I only need to get one out because I have an extra one, so it's not really that big of a deal. But I seem to have misplaced my O2 sensor socket. It's not surprising by the way my garage is. So I need to run to the auto parts store and buy another one. And my light died, so it gives it time to charge. But I got everything off this thing. The exhaust manifold's down there. It's caught up on some kind of bracket. My light died, so just kind of pissed me off. I really don't need it for the aftermarket one. I tried loosening it, but the bolt, the CV shaft, like they give you like no room, so I'm just gonna cut the damn thing off. It's in my way, and then we'll get to install the new one. And if I can't tell yet if I do, but if I have a black eye, it's because when this thing came off, this piece hit me right in the damn eye compared to the aftermarket one. But I ran into a problem. I couldn't get those off. I ended up stripping them. So I could cut those and then weld them in the holes of the new aftermarket ones. I'm undecided on that. I also thought about, I have an extra O2 sensor right here that would fit, but it's not the primary, it's the secondary. This one. I'm pretty sure you need this one for the car to run right. So that really sucks, because if I had an extra one of these, I would have just plugged it in and just said fuck that one. But on eBay I can get the set for like 40 or 50 bucks, but then I have to wait for it in the mail, and it could take like a week. O'Reilly's has them for like $100 and something, but screw that. So, alright, so I got the O2 sensor off. I don't know if it's gonna work, I don't know, this is some hillbilly stuff, but check this out. So I ended up taking a wrench. I cut a little section of it out the back so it fit, so I just used the back of it. And see, I just got to finish taking it out. I just welded it on there and beat it with a hammer, and I got it loose. Got the headers on. I ended up getting both the two sensors on and all that. The one I got off by welding, I showed you that. I had to see if I can cancel my order on eBay or whatever, because that's a waste of 50 bucks. So here is what, if you can see in there, they look nice on there. Now, the only problem that I saw with these, with the fitment, is they're pretty cheap and crappy. The piece that deletes the cat, the holes are two different sizes, and the bolts they send don't fit in the second hole, so I ended up having to use some different bolts. I didn't have any springs for it, so I just cranked it on there real tight with bolts. I hope that doesn't affect anything. Secondly, the far holes on each side didn't quite line up with the holes. So quality eBay parts, as you can tell. So the headers are actually only held on by 3 of the 5 bolts, and it seems pretty tight. I don't know, we'll see if that's any issues. If it's any issues, I'll drill the hole out on the header a little bigger and make the bolts fit, and use some washers or something. That's probably what I'll end up having to do. But right now I just got on. I want to see how it sounds. If it leaks, whatever, go from there. But I'm going to do a first startup and let you guys hear it. Oh, also, the stock sway bar does not work at all for any aftermarket header. The U on it is just too small. It end up, when you're turning like smacking side to side, it would mess your headers up. So I ended up just having to remove that. I do need to get an EP3 Civic SI sway bar. So there's the old one. That's what doesn't fit. And the EP3, this is actually massive. It's taller and it's wider, but everything else is the same, and it bolts right up. Alright, so we're going to do a in-car drive. It's still cold, so I'm not going to romp on it yet. It sounds a lot cleaner. Oh, it's louder. So I don't know how it sounds outside the car. It seems to sound like alright. It sounds really good in the car, but I have a leak, a massive leak in the middle of the car, which is mainly all that you hear now. I definitely need to get that fixed, but I don't hear anything up the front, which is great. It got rid of that awful noise. The timing chain definitely still going to need changed. I hear a bearing maybe going bad, but this is the first exhaust clip of the drive off.